All right, here we are back again. Twice as nice, three times even nicer. We are on part three of our home ownership process. And once again, Ron Roberts, Ron, the home loan dude with AmeriFund Home Loans, sharing some experiences with you and getting you through the home process. We started off this series as talking about purchasing the home, getting the contract, going through the steps of what you want to make sure you make an offer with, and all those things. And watch the first series. I don't want to take up too much time. And then the second part was talking about the inspection time, how important that inspection period is to you as a home buyer. So please review part one, part two. Very, very good pieces of information. This last segment is not going to be nearly as long. Not that those were very long, 3 or 4 minutes, I think. I don't know. But this is pretty much short and sweet. Again, I'm not talking too much about financing right now. I'm just talking about some really important things that we have seen that have caused stress levels, have caused anxiety, has caused people being upset. Whenever this home purchase should be exciting time, should be fun, should be memorable, not with negative things, but with exciting things. Remember when we did this, we talked about this, all these homes we saw, all these great things, and not complaining about stuff whenever there is a process that needs to be followed, and that process should be guided by real estate agents to be able to get all the way through the process. Make sure that that's why the seller should be represented by a real estate agent. A buyer should be represented by another real estate agent. So they all have their separate representations, whether it's new construction or if it's a resale. The new construction, they have their sales rep. They work for the company. They do not benefit you as a buyer. They are there to hit goals, and that's it. You should have representation when you walk into a sales office for new construction. Very important, and I'm going to tell you why right now. We're talking about the final walkthrough. We went purchase, we went contract, inspection, final walkthrough. Final walkthrough with new construction, you actually get two of them. With resale, you only get one, and the reason why the difference is with new construction, you have your new home orientation whenever the building supervisor or whatever department this builder wants to have done to take you through your new home orientation. This is the time that you walk through the new home. You're marking things with blue tape or green tape or whatever. They have different scenarios of blemishes on issues, dents on the wall, bad stucco jobs, uneven appliances, cracks in the granite. I've seen that before. Water not running properly, hot water switch with cold water. All those things like that. Now, this is a time that different with a resale. Resale, you would hire a home inspector at the beginning and inspect the home during the process, and that would be it. With new construction, you can have a home inspector do stages of inspection from pre-drywall to new home orientation, and then also before your 1-year warranty's up. Get to that later, another day. It's your choice on that. It is a good idea to hire a licensed home inspector even with new construction. Here's one of the things I was going to share about is the sales rep and the building supervisor are going to tell you you don't need to hire a home inspector. We have our own inspectors look at things. And I can tell you that every time that that one of our buyers decide to hire, not everybody does, that's their choice, it's fine, but when they do hire a licensed home inspector, they find more things than what their inspector found because there are other issues. One of the things that they won't do is the building supervisor or anybody in that new home orientation time, none of them will get up in the attic and check for insulation because they said that they already had it checked. Well, unfortunately, we have found over the years that installation is not done correctly. We have seen that there's been exposed wires, even on new construction. So those are things you need to watch out for. But they're going to tell you, the sales rep who works for the builder, not you, and the building supervisor who works for the builder, not you, they don't want to have that list given to them to take care of all those things. They want to move on to the next process. So it's very important for that. So that's a new home orientation, right? And then you get to your final walkthrough. This is after you did all your walkthrough, your new home orientation. You marked everything. You made a list. Hopefully you had a home inspector that gave you a list. And then your final walkthrough is they look at the sheet and they said, hey, we took care of all these things. I'm going to show you. We took care of this. We took care of that. And 99.9% of the time, 99.99999% of the time, they do. They take care of everything. You just got to tell them. They're just not going to do it. You got to tell them these things got to be taken care of. So they go through the process and they go and take care of all these different things. They show you. And then there's a couple things they couldn't get to yet. You sign a piece of paper guaranteeing that they're going to come back and take care of that. Fantastic. That's new home final inspection final walkthrough. Completely different from a resale. Completely different from a resale a final walkthrough. With a resale home, you do your inspection within the first 3, 5, 10, 20 days of the contract. That is it. Now the seller is responsible for maintaining the home in its current condition minus normal wear and tear. Whenever they leave the home, they need to remove all debris, all personal belongings, and swept. That's their responsibility. Now, your final walkthrough doesn't mean that the seller has to be moved out. There's nothing that says the seller has to be completely gone. Now, it happens a lot of times the seller has already moved out, but there is a good possibility because of schedules that you as the buyer might not be able to make it there the day of closing. Maybe your only time to do a final walkthrough is the day before or 2 days before. Well, the seller doesn't have to remove all their items for you to do their final walkthrough. That's why my last segment was talking about the importance of getting your eyes on as much things as possible that you feel is going to bother you, because after the inspection time, it doesn't really matter. Because if you are concerned about something that's underneath the rug, behind the furniture, or underneath a car, and you didn't say anything about that during the inspection period time, there's nothing that can be done about it at the final walkthrough. That's not what the final walkthrough is for on a resale. The final walkthrough is to make sure that the items that were working and the condition of the house is the same as it was, minus normal wear and tear, from the day of the inspection. So if the AC was working, the AC still needs to be working. If all 4 or 5 or 6 burners on fancy stoves are working, or there was one that wasn't working, well, that's how that has to happen. Was the light on in the refrigerator when you open it up, and you open it up on the final walkthrough, and you open it up and the light's not on? Well, they got to fix the light. The light has to be on. If you're testing windows and all the windows were opening and closing and holding, and you open a window and it's not holding open anymore, that's something that can probably be taken care of by the seller. No guarantees, but if you have that open dialogue, they're going to be able to take care of that for you, most likely. So this is not the time for a full inspection. That's not what it's for. It's to see if no windows are broken, the faucets aren't leaking, the stove is working, the microwave is working, you're opening doors, drawers, and stuff, and you don't see a door handle hanging off, you don't see a hole punched in the wall, you don't smell urine when you didn't smell urine before from a dog or a cat or a mouse or whatever, right? You don't see any damage to the exterior of the home where rodents might have gotten into the soffit area. The whole yard's not burnt up. The house never caught on fire. Those kind of things, right? Those are what you're going to be looking for. It's not to tell them, oh, we noticed there's a blemish on the wall when we walked in the house. Well, that was there when you did the inspection. They're not fixing that. I'm sorry. That's not happening. Or there's an oil stain on the driveway. You should have looked at it. Not being mean, but you should have looked. If that was going to bother you, you should have had them remove the cars out of the driveway, out of the garage. They would have done it. If that would have been a concern for you, that's something you should have been talked about. Honestly, in my opinion, should have been considered at contract offering, not even during the inspection period. Now, if it was impossible to see when you went to go view the house for the first time, you could have got it done during the inspection period. So this process, these things that I've been talking about, if you follow this, you will go all the way up to your final walkthrough happy, excited, thrilled, because most sellers don't want to leave a house that they have lived in for many years or even just a couple years in ruins. That's not their goal. They're not wanting to do that. They want to leave you a nice house. Most of the sellers that I talk to are like scrubbing down the walls and stuff, which they don't even have to do that. They only have to sweep and remove all the debris and no trash left inside the house. They can stack up all the trash outside if they want to. But a lot of them get it all removed. Sellers want to leave a nice house for you. But if you follow this process from the beginning, phase 1 that I talked about, part 1, part 2, making sure you got all these things. When you're doing the final walkthrough, you're walking through and it's like, hey, just want to make sure everything's still working. Make sure there's no broken windows, the door's shut. This house is already amazing. I'm really happy with it. We got it for a price that we're very happy with because we decided to accept it. We're excited. We're getting ready to go closing. The seller still has some stuff in the house, but we're fine with that. We've already looked. We're going to be good with that stuff. We've already seen what's behind the furniture, underneath the furniture. They have to leave it swept. They have to wipe it, make sure there's no trash left in the house. We're ready to move in. And fantastic, an exciting closing day. We done it. And that's the feeling that everybody really should have at the final walkthrough is we're going to closing day. We're buying our new house. Amazing. Oh, we're so excited. Yep, right? That excitement, not what about this and what about that. The what about this and the what about that should happen on showing day and inspection period. That's when what about this, what about that. Now, I'll say this, if the seller had damaged the house, absolutely, you have something to be concerned about. But they're not doing that. They're really not doing that. They're not hiding things. And if there was something something was leaning up against the wall and there was damage behind that wall, I don't think they did it on purpose. I think they might have forgot. But also, if there was a way for you to pull that away from the wall, or if you're concerned about, oh, what's behind? See that that's leaning up against there. I wonder what's behind there. But you can't get to it. Well, during the inspection period, you could have left the house and asked the agent to talk to the seller's agent and say, hey, we weren't able to see this area right here. We need to be able to see that area. They would have done it. And okay, there was a hole in the wall. We pulled that back, a hole in the wall. Can you have that fixed for us? We'd appreciate it. Maybe. There's probably a 75-80% chance the seller's going to be like, I didn't even know that hole was there. I'll get it fixed for you. No big deal. Some little putty. Boom. Done. Finished. Communication. It's a secret. It's a success and happiness. So take these things, part 1, part 2, part 3. Watch them before you start to purchase your home. Watch it in pieces. Give me a call, send me a text, a message. I'll guide you through this information. If your real estate agent's not really sure what you can do, have them give me a call. I'd be happy to guide them through it because it's all about communication. It's all about the process Because if you follow the process, you're going to end up being a happy homeowner with the keys in your hand and move-in day and celebrating and grilling out or cooking or whatever you like to do in your new home, being very, very, very happy. So I hope all this information is going to be able to give you some good guidance, get you all the way through the process. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. I love to see the comments of what you think about all this information I've been saying and everything. If you'd like to schedule a 30-minute strategy call, click the link below where you see, or wherever it might be, where the 30-minute strategy call, schedule, put it on my calendar. Be happy to be able to just sit and talk with you. We can do a Zoom call. We can do a phone call. We can sit in an office, go have coffee together, whatever you'd like to be able to do, so we can make the home ownership finding, offering, inspecting, walkthrough, closing day, all that process, financing, paperwork, all that, just a fun, exciting experience, and getting all the way through stress-free and making sure that you're going to have the keys in your hand and be a wonderful homeowner and your pathway to financial success. So, thank you so much for listening. Please, again, like, subscribe, and share. And I will continue these little mini series. And I got some really great stuff coming up for everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.